Hi there, my name is Marijn Overvest and I'm the founder of Procurement Tactics. In this video, I will guide you through how to work on your procurement strategy. Thank you for buying the template and I hope this video will help you in working on your own procurement strategy. Let's dive right in. Your personal procurement plan contains 5 steps. Number 1 is to link your own strategy with that of your company you're working for. Number 2 is to work on the internal analysis. Step number 3 is the external analysis, named PESTEL, in Procurement Tactics templates. And number 4, procurement plotting. All of these 4 combined will end in an actionable action plan as step 5. In this video, I will guide you through all the steps. This slide is only introductory, so I will skip this one. Now we're going to talk about company strategy. Let's introduce that one. And to make sure you understand it in the right way, I have been working on an example on how to align a personal procurement plan with a procurement department's goal and, of course, company goals. So, for example, when you take Gorillas, the German company which is having huge sales in the last couple of years due to COVID, their company goal, for example, is to grow 300% sales growth year over year. The procurement department's goal is to grow as with many suppliers as possible to spread dependency. And for you working on your personal procurement plan, could be to develop 3 other beer suppliers as a BATNA, best alternative to a negotiated agreement, suppliers next to Heineken to decrease the dependency from Heineken. Now, for example, when you take Unilever into account, their company goal is to ensure that 100% of their plastic packaging is fully reusable, recyclable or compostable in 2025. The procurement department's goal would be to source recycled plastic to make sure that company goals can be achieved. And coming back to the personal procurement plan, is when you're, as a procurement manager, responsible for the brand Andrelon, is to make sure to switch the Andrelon shampoo bottles from regular PET plastic towards recyclable in cooperation with your suppliers. There's another example of Netflix as well, but we won't go into details here about that. If you want to include your personal procurement plan within the company, it is helpful to involve all the important stakeholders. There are some stakeholders that you might want to involve. So for example, of course, procurement, sales, senior management, board, line management, marketing, financial department, and of course IT. And in this template will help you to make sure that everyone is aligned, what is their role in the process, and at what stage of the process of your action plan, which is number 5 of the procurement plan, should they be involved. You can work on these and to help aligning your company to achieve your goals. Here's the empty example, which you can fill in for yourself. That brings us to step number 2. After you're done with your stakeholder mapping and with the company strategy alignment, it's time to take a look inside. We're going to dive into internal analysis. On the left side, I've plotted the sourcing groups or the procurement groups, and on the top side I plotted all the important variables that are needed to include in your internal analysis. So we have key figures like cost of goods sold, spent on the management, cost price breakdown, number of suppliers, payment terms, contract coverage, supplier rating, and of course saving potential. The upper part of the template is pretty clear, but the left part might be a bit harder to determine. So you being responsible as a procurement manager for buying services or let's say raw materials, then it could be pretty clear that you're only responsible for one sourcing group. But on the other hand, there can also be the splitting of the sourcing groups. So, to determine your groups, ask yourself, what is a logical clustering? For example, could be you can choose, when you're the procurement manager of beer, to level 1 determine as beer in a can, specialty beer in a bottle, etc. Level 2 that you could choose is the product group. Pilsener, Lager, Saison, Triple, Mexican. Level 3 could be brands like Heineken, Bud, Corona, Warsteiner. And level 4 could be suppliers. Heineken, AB InBev, Carlsberg or Duvel. It's very important to determine your own groups in this moment because you will also use it later in filling the rest of your template. Here is just a conclusion in one sentence per important variable that will help you to guide you through taking the most important decisions on where to focus on in your annual procurement strategy. That brings us to the PESTEL analysis, and the PESTEL analysis is actually a step-by-step analysis of the external and internal factors that will impact your personal procurement plan. The 6 factors are political, economical, social, technological, environmental, and legal. In this document, you will find useful templates to guide you through this process. You can start with working on the political factors. I have been giving examples on the right side, and on the left side there are questions to help to answer yourself to make sure that you come towards a great political factor analysis. The same accounts for economical factors, for social factors, for technological factors, for environmental factors, and in the end, of course, legal factors. A complete PESTEL analysis will enable you to manage the risk and seize the opportunities in your external environment. If you have completed all the steps in this guide, you can continue to plot suppliers and form your action plan. So, this will be no surprise. We are going to the PESTEL analysis template to fill. On the left side, again, here are the sourcing groups, and on the top side there are the PESTEL: environmental, legal, technological, social, economical, and political factors. And per group, you can, let's say, write the most important conclusions in here before we go to the procurement plotting. If you have started with company strategy alignment, you know the conclusions of your internal analysis and your PESTEL analysis. It's time to dive in your suppliers and your supplier groups. If you want to plot suppliers in the current situation, it is easy to do that via determination of 2 axes. Axis number 1 is the profit impact, and axis number 2 is the supplier risk or the complexity within the market. So for example, when you have a supplier which has a high profit impact and a high risk or high complexity, the supplier will be in the strategic quadrant. In the leverage quadrant, the profit impact is high, but the risk is low, etc., etc. Here you can see the actions that you can take to work on the plotting supplier's desired outcome. So if you take into account in your personal procurement plan, where do I want to be in 1 year? This picture shows it. So if supplier A is in the bottleneck quadrant, and of course you want to have as many suppliers within the leverage or the strategic quadrant, and of course in non-critical can be, but bottleneck you do not want to be there, you will make sure to shift them from A towards bottleneck, towards non-critical. And for example, the strategic is now a good fit, but in 1 year you want to have your supplier more on the leverage side. This is very important to think of, okay, if I have plotted my suppliers in the current situation, ask yourself the question, am I happy with it? Do I want to shift suppliers to the right? Do I want to shift suppliers to the left or to top? Because in the end, yes, you would like to have as much suppliers with high profit in your portfolio and not with low profit. Then it's time for number 5, action plan. This is actually the place where all the steps that you have been taking in step 1 to 4 are coming together in a clear action plan. So for example, again, when you're the procurement managers of beer, there is your group, you can see it here, beers in can, and here beers in crate. Actually, the picture is not a crate, but you see where I'm going. Here are the tactics that you could fill in to work on during the year. These are the actions that you have to take to achieve the tactics. Here are the deadlines that you want to achieve your targets, and here is, of course, the saving potential. If you have more than 2 procurement groups, just copy this page in your template and work on it. And if you're wondering, okay, dear team of Procurement Tactics, what are tactics that you can use? Google for negotiation and procurement tactics on our website and you will find all the examples. But for example, this could be tactic 1 within beers in a can, can be in a bottle, can be go for supplier development. Make sure to have more BATNAs. Go for packaging reduction. Choose for a lighter bottle of glass, for example. Number 3 can be to go for more e-auctions versus last year, because you know there's a high number of suppliers that want to compete with each other. Then e-auction can be a really good tactic. And number 4 is to gain more knowledge in the value chain. So the value chain analysis to make sure that you buy all your products for the right price. So if you combine everything that you have found in step 1, 2, 3 and 4, this action plan will be your holy grail where you work full year with to determine what do I want to achieve in my annual procurement strategy. And of course, for every procurement manager, very important, what is the saving potential? That brings us to the end of the slideshow. I hope it's clear for you how to work on your annual procurement strategy, Now I have been reviewing all the slides. Please, if you have any more questions, always feel free to email me or send me a message via LinkedIn. I'll be happy to help. Have a nice day. Bye bye.